We cover the news that shapes our global future. NDTV World, your new home for global news, is here.
This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV 24/7.
Hello and welcome to this Wednesday edition of the World Report. I'm Arjun Mahendran. Let's take a look at what's making headlines around the world. A U.S. military aircraft carrying more than 200 illegal Indian immigrants is expected to land in Amritsar any moment now. The aircraft was originally scheduled to land in the morning, but it seems to have been delayed. Reports suggest that the C-17 Globemaster took off from San Antonio in Texas and is carrying illegal immigrants hailing from Punjab and neighboring states. Now, this after Donald Trump assumed office as the U.S. president last month. The country's law enforcement agencies have launched a crackdown against illegal immigrants. The U.S. military has deported illegal immigrants to many countries already. My colleague Mohammad Ghazali joins us for more on this developing story. Ghazali, what's the latest on the ground right now? Has the flight landed? Is it about to land? What's happening?
See, we are being told that perhaps the flight has landed just a short while back, and it is having, as we are being told, around 205 people on board, along with some US officials as well. And at the Amritsar International Airport, the Punjab police has done elaborate arrangements for the verification of people, because there are people not just from Punjab, but they're from Haryana, from Gujarat and other states as well. As per the sources, maximum number of people are from Gujarat and Haryana, followed by Punjab. Yesterday, the Director General of Police, the Punjab DGP, was in Amritsar to take a stock of the situation, and he also said that he is being told that there are certain people who may be deported back as well, because all the documents will be checked, verified. They will also verify the criminal antecedents or criminal history of these people who have been deported from United States. There are certain people, what we are being told is that they were legal migrants there. They had all the documents, but after their documents expired, they overstayed there, and that is why they are being deported. In December,
identity seems to be at the center of this. Now, are there any specific measures that the Indian government has undertaken to verify all their identities, so to sift through them and then, sort of let them into our system, back into our country?
See, the way both US and Indian government, or say the state governments also, have not responded to this entire episode which has been unfolding for the last 24 hours, suggests that when our External Affairs Minister, Mr. Jaishankar, was in the United States to attend the inaugural ceremony of Mr. Trump, these issues did come up for discussion when he met the NSA, the Secretary of State in the United States, and he was told that around 18,000 illegal immigrants have been identified. And what we are being told is that the ministry was kept in the loop before deporting these people. Their list was run through the External Affairs Ministry as well. Yet, what we are being told that when these people will land here, or have already landed, there are elaborate arrangements that the criminal history, the past history, their Aadhaar card, all the documents will be verified. A specific counter has been set up by the immigration authorities at the Amritsar International Airport to verify all their background.
That's right. We also, all of us saw visuals of these deportees when they were actually onboarding the aircraft. They were chained, So has this sparked any human rights concerns? We also saw earlier deportation flights going to Guantanamo and Colombia, where the immigrants were literally chained up like hardcore criminals. So
See, surprising
concerns or not?
Surprisingly, Indian government has not objected to it, but you remember when it happened with Colombia, the Colombian president took a strong objection to the way Mr. Trump, he accused Mr. Trump of treating illegal immigrants in a way by chaining them and then parading them in front of the camera before they were boarded on the flight. And this is also for the first time that a military aircraft is being used to deport these illegal immigrants back in India. So the clear situation will come up or will emerge only when these people will go through the background verification at the airport, and then we will see, or we are expecting a response from the External Affairs Ministry also once these people actually come out of the airport, because what we are being told that people who are from different other states, be it Gujarat or Haryana, the people from Haryana will be sent by the bus, and people or the deportees from Gujarat will be flown to Gujarat from Amritsar airport itself.
And how, Ghazali, my last question to you before we let you go, how does this pattern, recent pattern of more deportations, really affect countries like India and Mexico, for that matter?
See, it certainly brings disrepute to the nation that you are sending illegal immigrants, but the larger question, or the question which should be addressed by the governments, both at center and state, is that what kind of action we are being taken against these immigrants, these travel agents who facilitate this. We all know the story of that donkey route, that how people from India and neighboring countries as well try to get into Mexico or United States through illegal route by crossing through multiple countries in Middle East and even in Europe. And this has been happening. It is a regular phenomena. It's a very frequent episode which we keep listening to or keep hearing after every few months. Gujarat government, if I remember correctly, last year took a strong action against those illegal travel agents who facilitate this kind of travel for immigrants, but not enough has been done, because it needs a wider crackdown against these illegal agents who facilitate people, lure people of good jobs and all, despite all the advisories from External Affairs Ministry to not fall in trap of these illegal agents, yet people continue to do so. And this has been happening not just in Punjab, but Punjab, Haryana, Jammu Kashmir, as well as Gujarat and other states.
Well, thank you so much for that, Ghazali. We'll, of course, keep on tracking this very important story. Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump has said he is not ruling out deploying US troops to support the reconstruction of Gaza, and he envisions a quote-unquote long-term US ownership of a redevelopment of the territory. We'll do what is necessary, Trump said about the possibility of deploying troops to fill any security vacuum in the enclave. If it's necessary, we'll do that. These are Trump's words. Now, the comments came after the US president said he wants the US to take ownership of the Gaza Strip and redevelop it after Palestinians are settled elsewhere.
As far as Gaza is concerned, we'll do what is necessary. If it's necessary, we'll do that. We're going to take over that piece, and we're going to develop it, create thousands and thousands of jobs, and it'll be something that the entire Middle East can be very proud of.
Do you have any plans to visit Israel soon?
To visit where?
Israel.
Oh, I love Israel. I will visit there, and I'll visit Gaza, and I'll visit Saudi Arabia, and I'll visit other places all over the Middle East. The Middle East is an incredible place, so vibrant, so it's just one of the really beautiful places, and with great people. And I think a lot of bad leadership has taken place in the Middle East that's allowed this to happen.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is the first visit of a foreign leader during President Donald Trump's second term, and that comes amid lagging support for Netanyahu in Israel. Now, Netanyahu says of Trump, "You are the greatest friend Israel has ever had in the White House." The Israeli Prime Minister rather opened his comments at a press conference with Trump, saying that Trump's staunch defense of Israel means that his nation's people have enormous respect for him. Listen in.
I'm honored that you invited me to be the first foreign leader to visit the White House in your second term. This is a testament to your friendship and support for the Jewish state and the Jewish people. I've said this before, I'll say it again. You are the greatest friend Israel has ever had in the White House. And that's why the people of Israel have such enormous respect for you.
Meanwhile, US President Donald Trump said on Tuesday he is in no hurry to speak to Chinese President Xi Jinping to try to defuse a new trade war between the world's two largest economies that sparked by his sweeping 10% tariffs on all Chinese imports. Now, Beijing imposed targeted tariffs on US imports on Tuesday and even put several companies, including the likes of Google, on notice for possible sanctions in a measured response to Trump's tariffs. Meanwhile, Trump will sign an executive order on Wednesday designed to prevent people who were biologically assigned male at birth from participating in women's or girls' sporting events. Now, the contentious order, which Trump is expected to sign at an afternoon ceremony, marks another aggressive shift by the president's second administration in the way the federal government deals with transgender people and their rights, in fact. The president put out a sweeping order on his first day in office last month that called for the federal government to define sex as only male and female, and for that to be reflected on official documents such as passports and even in policies such as the Federal Prison Assignment Scheme. Meanwhile, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman is on his second visit to India in as many years. Altman has reaffirmed the country's potential as a frontrunner, in fact, in artificial intelligence, particularly in building small and reasoning models. Amid intensifying AI competition from Google's Gemini, DeepSeek, and others, and increasing global scrutiny over AI's impact, Altman's India tour underscores the country's growing significance in the AI ecosystem. Listen in to what he said.
India is an incredibly important market for AI in general, for OpenAI in particular. It's our second biggest market, tripled users here in the last year, but mostly seeing what people in India are building with AI at all levels of the stack, chips, models, all of the incredible applications. So I think India should be doing everything. I think India should be one of the leaders of the AI revolution. It's really quite amazing to see what the country has done and embraced the technology and building, again, the entire stack of things on top of it. One of the most exciting things that's happened to me that I think's happened in the industry since, is we're now in a world where we made incredible progress with distillation. We learned a lot how to do small models, and these reasoning models in particular can be, it's not cheap, it's still expensive to train them, but it's doable. And I think that's going to lead to an explosion of really great creativity, and India should be a leader there, of course.
Authorities near Washington, D.C. area said they are now focusing on retrieving the jet involved in last week's mid-air collision and hope to recover the helicopter later this week. The remains of all 67 victims of the collision of an American Airlines flight and an Army helicopter have been recovered, authorities said Tuesday. All but one victims have been identified. Meanwhile, the National Transportation Safety Board said it is examining new data that could put the helicopter above its 200-foot flight ceiling. The airport's air traffic control screen, relying on radar sensors and other data, had the helicopter, in fact, at 300 feet, the agency said. However, the figure would have been rounded to the nearest 100 feet, according to authorities. According to a prelim investigation report released by Kazakhstan's Ministry of Transportation, the deadly Azerbaijani passenger plane crash at the Aktau airport in Kazakhstan last December was caused by external impacts rather than a bird strike or gas cylinder explosion. Azerbaijan's Ministry of Digital Development and Transportation has said this in a statement released Tuesday. Now, the ministry said the aircraft's fuselage had been punctured by foreign objects which did not in fact belong to the aircraft and were discovered in the wreckage. The exact origin would be determined through further expert examinations, they've said. No evidence, however, of bird strike or cylinder explosion has been found as of now. Swedish police say around 10 people have been killed in a shooting at an education center in central Sweden, including the suspected gunman. Prime Minister Ulf Kristersson described Tuesday's attack at the Riksbanksa school in Åbro, 200 kilometers west of the capital Stockholm, as the worst mass shooting in the country's history. Meanwhile, police say they believe the male perpetrator to be among the dead and that he was not previously known to them. There was no immediately identifiable motive and he was believed to be acting alone, they said. Listen in.
lägesdragning med polisen. Och de har också lämnat information till allmänheten vid flera pressträffar under dagen. Polisen har alltså gjort en omfattande insats idag sedan larmet kom in vid 12:30-tiden. Vi vet nu att ett 10-tal personer har omkommit och utöver det så är många personer skadade. Polisen och sjukvården arbetar nu med att identifiera omkomna och underrätta anhöriga. Den person som polisen i nuläget bedömer är den primära gärningsmannen hör till de avlidna. Det rör sig om en person som inte är känd för polisen sedan tidigare.
Pakistani President Asif Ali Zardari arrived in Beijing on Tuesday for a state visit to China. At the invitation of Chinese President Xi Jinping, President Zardari will pay a state visit to China from Tuesday to Saturday. Meanwhile, back at home, the Pakistani government's recent amendment to the country's Cybercrimes Act has seriously threatened internet freedom and free expression as well. Human Rights Watch said on Tuesday, calling on the nation's parliament, in fact, to repeal or revise the Pakistan Electronic Crimes Amendment Act 2025. Now, the new law enacted on the 29th of January, in fact, includes provisions making the dissemination of fake or false information a criminal offence punishable by up to 3 years in prison without clearly even defining what fake or false news actually means. Now, stakeholders like the journalists, unions and digital rights experts say they were excluded even from consultations on the bill, which prevented genuine public scrutiny of the new law altogether. Well, we'll slip into a short break. I'll see you on the other side.
This is how much mayo chicken you get for $1.39. This is how much holiday you get for $1.39.
Tray up, please.
McDonald's Saver Menu. Actually get your money's worth.
What they don't tell you about getting older is how much fun it can be. Enjoying all the things you've worked so hard for. Spending time with the people that really matter. Not to mention, finally finding that precious time for yourself. I don't want anything taking my best years away from me, but like so many people, I've seen the heartbreak that dementia can cause. That's why I'm asking everyone to order this essential free guide from Alzheimer's Research UK. It's called Your Brain Matters. We all know what's good for our heart and our lungs, but do you know how to keep your brain healthy too? Well, this guide tells you how, in 7 steps you can start taking right now, whatever your age. Just ring the number on screen to get your free copy. Inside you'll find facts and tips that can keep your brain healthy and help reduce your risk of developing dementia. It's advice you can really trust from leading dementia scientists. Read it, keep it, and check back whenever you need to. Order your free copy now. Call Alzheimer's Research UK on 0800 035 5984 or text BRAIN2 to 78866. Think of it as another way of planning for your best years, because your brain really matters.
We know travel can be confusing, so let us inspire you. Welcome to Qatar. Experience it all. World-class hospitality, diverse landscapes from city to sea, and fly there with the Airline of the Year 2022, Qatar Airways. Book now at travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. Travel Up, flights, hotels, holidays.
When Tony passed, we wanted to celebrate him his way. All he ever spoke about was bite this, bite that. I'll never forget our first date. Huge grin on his face as he rode up on that big noisy thing. And that's exactly the way he'd want to be remembered.
At Co-op Funeral Care, we know everyone is different. That's why we offer funeral plans to funeral services that are personal, every step of the way.
Family life. It's made of ups and downs, and those little moments. But should the unthinkable happen to you? Life insurance from Legal & General can help look after monthly bills, the roof over their heads, childcare costs, and most importantly, your family. Because no one protects more families in the UK than us. Premiums start from £5 a month and they never rise. Plus there's a £120 gift card after you apply. Legal in general. Ensure life goes on.
Welcome back. You're watching the World Report on NDTV. According to reports, Japan's Nissan has called off merger talks with rival Honda, abandoning a tie-up that would have, in fact, created the world's #3 automaker and raising questions about its ability to ride out a crisis on its own. Shares in Nissan slid more than 4% before trade was suspended by the Tokyo Stock Exchange following the report. Shares of Honda, on the other hand, which were still trading, were up more than 8% in a sign of apparent investor relief about the deal being scrapped. Alphabet, the parent company of technology giant Google, is no longer promising, in fact, that it will never use AI for purposes such as developing weapons and surveillance tools. Now, the firm has rewritten the principles guiding its use of AI, dropping a section which ruled out uses that were quote-unquote likely to cause harm. In a blog post, Google Senior Vice President James Manyika and Demis Hassabis, who leads the AI lab Google DeepMind, defended the move. Meanwhile, Alphabet said on Tuesday it will spend $75 billion on its AI build-out this year, 29% more than Wall Street expected, and investors signaled disappointment at a missed cloud revenue target and began showing impatience over profitability. Shares of the Google parent fell 9% in extended trading. Alphabet has gained about 9% so far this year. Meanwhile, the Wall Street had been expecting 2025 capital expenditures of about $58 billion. Now, this is according to LSEG data. That would have marked a modest increase of over the $52.5 billion spending last year in 2024. All eyes are on the French capital next week to see if US President Donald Trump's administration can find common ground with China and nearly 100 other nations on the safe development of artificial intelligence. About a year after world powers reckoned with the dangers of AI in England's Bletchley Park, a wider array of countries are gathering in Paris to discussing putting the technology to work. Now, France, eager to promote its national industry, is hosting the AI Action Summit alongside India on the 10th of February. Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates has told NDTV that were he a young boy, in fact, growing up in today's world, he would probably be diagnosed on the autism spectrum. Now, Gates, who has never formally been diagnosed on the spectrum, said that as a child, his parents sent him to a therapist who, in fact, over a year succeeded in convincing him that his mental style might be a positive thing. Take a look.
When talking about your own personal focus, I found one of the most interesting parts about how you actually sort of start speaking about what you say would today have been diagnosed as being the autism spectrum. And to use your own words, if I were growing up today, I probably would be diagnosed on the autism spectrum. In the time of my childhood, the fact that some people's brains process information differently from others can't widely be understood. When did you realize that your brain, you function differently in a more intense manner?
Well, I knew there was something different. I give the example that they asked us in 6th grade to write a report, and I picked a small United States state called Delaware. I ended up turning in a 200-page report, and the other kids were turning in 5 to 10-page reports. Yeah. And I was kind of embarrassed. Wow, did I go nuts over this thing? And, teachers were always a little confounded at where I was so capable and also yet so distracted. I literally had teachers at one stage say to me, we should skip you ahead 1 or 2 grades. Yeah. Or a teacher say, no, we should hold you back so you can be more mature. And I certainly, my social skills, particularly with people my own age, other than a few nerdy boys like me, were very slow to develop. And so I had, the advantages of kind of that intense focus, but some of the deficits as well. And, it befuddled my parents and teachers a little bit. And I was very lucky that, going to this private school, I was able to shape that capability into a strength.
Was it difficult for you to decide to write about potentially having been on the autism spectrum?
Well, I thought it was, maybe helpful to people now who get that diagnosis. Sometimes having a diagnosis is helpful to people because they can learn more about other people. It also, can be pejorative, and I worry, that would hold somebody back. I didn't have that, even though my parents, to deal with that I was causing a bit of tension, pushing back on them, they sent me to a therapist. It was never that he had some word. He was just, hey, you're wasting your time. Your parents are on your side. You're confused. And over a period of a year, he actually succeeded in convincing me that I was, picking the wrong battles to try and push back to them. But it was never about a diagnosis. He gave me some IQ tests and, told me that my mental style might be a positive thing. So it's a different world now. Kids are not allowed to go out and hike quite in an open-ended way, or to sneak out and try to find computing time. So I had parents that set good examples, had good values, but gave me free rein and sent me to this really great school.
Lewis Hamilton completed his latest outing at the wheel of a Ferrari Formula One car on Tuesday when he took part in the Pirelli tire testing at the Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. Ferrari's new signing, who was also in action at the Spanish Grand Prix venue last week, shared a modified 2024 specification SF24 with the teammate Charles Leclerc, while McLaren's Lando Norris ran an adapted MCL60 from 2023. Bridget Jones is back in the fourth installment of creator Helen Fielding's much-loved rom-com Bridget. Playing again by double Oscar winner Renee Zellweger, is a single mother to 9-year-old Billy and 4-year-old Mabel, in fact, after the death of a beloved Mark Darcy. As years pass, Bridget is persuaded by her friends and family to leave her emotional limbo and look for love again. While Zellweger was excited at the idea of returning to the character, she described having to say goodbye to Colin Firth as heartbreaking. Well, that's all we have for you today. Take care and have a wonderful day.
We know travel can be confusing, so let us inspire you. Welcome to Qatar. Experience it all. World-class hospitality, diverse landscapes from city to sea, and fly there with the Airline of the Year 2022, Qatar Airways. Book now at travelup.com or call 0207 580 5000. Travel Up, flights, hotels, holidays.
What are you so happy about?
I've just made a claim. We could be owed thousands.
My claim group?
Yeah, the cars we bought on finance, well, the lenders could have charged hidden commissions. It's dead simple to claim.
Hey, I had 2 cars before we met.
Go to My Claim Group. You could be owed thousands in hidden commissions from cars you bought on finance since 2007, even if you can't remember the details.
Done.
Simple, eh?
Go to My Claim Group now.
Claims made simple.
At Direct Line, we know that for multi-property landlords, sometimes the tiniest of things can turn into way bigger problems. From niggly contract issues to keeping up with ever-changing legislation. That's why Direct Line's landlord insurance offers a 24/7 legal helpline as standard. Because a call with someone could help to make the hairiest of problems feel that little bit smoother. Search Direct Line Landlord Insurance. We're on it.
Who doesn't love a good deal?
Meal deals.
Be rude not to deals. Seal deals? Or a bit of deal or no deal? We've got free-to-play deals with no deposit required. And up to £1,000 to be won every day. Get that good deal feeling only at Tombola.
Sometimes there's things a man cannot know. Engines won't turn and the train won't leave.
Actor of the Year. By the way, my dear friends, you know, probably I am one of the first ones in the history of NDTV to have this rare, proud honor of announcing and honoring as in the place of a real hero to a reel of my own movie, Shrikant. Without a further ado, with great admiration, love and due respect, the best actor of the year goes to Shri Rajkumar Rao. Please come on to the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Rajkumar Rao's versatility, dedication to meaningful cinema, and consistent delivery of powerful performances continued in 2024. His recent roles in Shrikant, Mr. and Mrs. Mahi, Stree 2, and Wiki Vidya Ka Wo Wala video showcases his deep commitment to his craft, often transforming himself physically and emotionally to Anushka and Aishwarya have been tracking the story since 7 a.m. since the time the polling began, and they are giving us ground zero reports. Ash, coming to you now, you're at Nirman Bhavan polling station, and what does it look like?
This is a high-profile zone. VIP movement was seen since morning, but currently there are less voters at Nirman Bhavan because most of the important leaders have voted this morning. I just saw Varun Gandhi stepping in to vote over here at Nirman Bhavan, and certainly it's a contest that the central Delhi and specifically the New Delhi Assembly constituency is witnessing a triangular fight between BJP's Pavesh Verma, Congress's Sandeep Dixit, and of course Aam Aadmi Party's Arvind Kejriwal. There are a lot of silent voters this time. That's what we are also witnessing. People are not speaking much about who they are going to vote, whether these silent voters will go in favor of the Aam Aadmi Party or that will go in favor of the Bharatiya Janata Party is something that would be very interesting to see. But a low voter turnout is seen in this area of the national capital as far as Delhi voting is concerned. Certainly it was a messaging that was given since morning that large number of people should come out, but it is almost 30% till 1 p.m. That's the Election Commission of India trend clearly shows as far as voter turnout is concerned.
Okay, Ash, before I let you go, I want a word also on the promotional material which has been allegedly seized. Ash, if you heard me.
Well, of course it is. Well, that's right. And in fact, there are some booths that certainly the Aam Aadmi Party had clearly questioned over the booths where there had been election campaigning material that was recovered. In fact, Sanjay Singh today went to one of the police stations where there was one Aam Aadmi Party worker who was detained. The Election Commission and Delhi Police clarified that he was involved in distributing the campaigning posters and pamphlets just near the polling station, which is a violation, and therefore the reason perhaps they restricted him to be there. Aam Aadmi Party MP Raghav Chadha also alleged that voters had been stopped. So there had been several cases which had emerged since morning, but Delhi police is also keeping a close eye